First, the Tessa. While most species aren't able to hold one Tessa, the humans are able to hold a collective of them. Their chemicals are able to almost completely fuse with humans, and ain't able to read humans, in opposition of other species that they create symbiotic relationships. For the human, the side effect is living with several hard-shell snakes inside and outside their skin, as well as a heavy increase of calories necessary. The Tessa are able to absorb almost every impurity from humans, as well as several chemicals and hormones that are seen as bad to humans, weirdly enough. The Tessa seems to have what can be seen as evolution in humans, as well as improve several aspects of the human in a symbiotic relationship. Subject Perez accepted an experimental treatment being host for 4 Tessa after the loss of his left leg. In approximately 3 months, the Tessa hardened and managed to be inserted on the host with skin covering them. The leg was, in the span of 3 months, completely regenerated. Subject Perez also showed signs of slowed aging and possibly rejuvenation. It is advised that more than 7 tests would drastically change the human in question, and so far no one has tried that procedure. As a final word about the Tessa, funnily as in other species, they fight for dominance over the host, over other symbiotes. In humans, they are able to share the host with other species. Read more in Symbiotic Relationship, Article 20, Cross-Species Host. Article 2, the Hassor. Seen in old times as a type of mineral, the Hassor is very similar to hard-shelled insects. The interesting fact is that the Hassor were discovered as symbiotes by the humans. An old Hindu was without his jewelry and paints after a crash landing, and used a Hassor on his forehead as a symbiotic gesture. The creature amplified the psionic abilities of the individual without precedent. The survivor managed to touch the mind of another psionic more than 5 systems away, after 5 years of broadcasting a psionic SOS. Important fact about the Hassor. It's not advisable for any other than Class 12 races to use the Hassor. In Class 10 and under, the subject died of brain or similar organ hemorrhage. To Class 11 races, the creature manages to destroy the ocular or similar organ or vision of the host. To Class 12 races, they are able to fully adapt. Impressively is the fact that the only perfect symbiosis is with humans, to the point it's rumoured some individuals use more than 4 Hassors in their foreheads and claim they can see beyond the unseen. Again, within the same rumour is believed that they erected a monastery on the planet that the Hassor were found. All these rumours have yet to be confirmed, since no one is willing to use more than 1 Hassor, but knowing humans is very probable that this will come to tests very soon. No side effects were seen in Class 12 races, nor the symbiotes showed any aggression to other symbiotic creatures living on the same host. To all instances, the creature behaves like a rock, yet clearly it isn't. Article 3. Screechers. Coming from a death world, this race of parasites is the equivalent of a bat that drains the host. Since the biology is already from a Class 12 race, it was unlikely that this race could ever achieve a symbiotic relationship with any race. Yet, once again, the insane metabolism of humans kicks in here. The Screechers that entered in combat with humans show extreme dependence on the host. The immune system of humans already made it quite impossible for the Screechers to actually drain the fluids and life force of a human. But to the humans, very interesting abilities were developed. The Screechers managed to give humans night vision, tapping into the spinal cord of humans, and it's reported that older symbiotes grow so much using human fluids, hormones and life force that they can actually manage to grow bigger wings that support human flight. The characteristic abilities of the Screechers, like their sonic scream, can be seen being used by human hosts. It's still unclear what can and will happen when older hosts and symbiotes grow together for longer periods. It's theorized that light immunity to several toxic components is also probable, between other more eldritch suppositions. Article 4. Tortuga Ars. Coming from an ocean planet, the Tortuga Ars were a normal race, without any kind of parasitic system shown. For all purposes, the Tortuga Ars are a normal race, except when near humans. The salt proportion in human bodies, as well as their hot blood system, somehow unlocked a latent gene on the Tortuga Ars. The hard-shelled race opens up and embraces the human body. On the first contact, it was seeming that the Tortuga Ars were attacking the human, and trying to somehow swallow their torso. Yet after the lock on the shell on the human, it was very clear that both individuals were very much alive and well. The Tortuga Ars face overlapped on the human face, much like a helmet, as well as a shell covering and armouring the human in question. In some short months, the human and the Tortuga Ars were completely fused, with the human skin showing signs of shell-like composition, and the face of the Tortuga Ars looking more like tribal markings than the human. Both individuals retain their full faculties, and to this day the Tortuga Ars can't explain their behaviour next to humans. It can be also noted that the human host developed improved abilities on swimming and breathing capabilities, way above normal. Article 5. Lightning Vines. A Class 10 symbiote, the lightning vines are mostly a plant organism that kills and uses the host as nurturing. Yet on humans and some other Class 12 races with advanced synaptic and electric impulses, the vine created a symbiotic relationship. The need of calories is greatly improved, but it's possible to observe faster regeneration, bioluminescence when needed, faster reflexes, and almost precognitive cerebral responses on the host. The host manages to have higher muscle density and improved muscular growth. The hosts are somehow able to use low-level electromancy and magnetic manipulation. The vines become an extension of the host, being able to be used as whips, and even tentacles on more experienced hosts. Humans are the only species the lightning vines fully integrated. It's advisable that any human hosting those vines must have an obligatory exile for a certain amount of time, until the body of both creatures is fully adapted to each other. Article 6. Skinwalker fungus. One of the most monstrous parasites, and yet another monstrous show of the immune system of humans. Losing on death count only to the necrophage bacteria, the SWF is a parasitic fungus that takes over the host and replaces them, being able to even shapeshift and adapt bodily functions of the host. Yet on humans, they found key organs to parasite and weren't able to enter the membrane protecting human brains, which created an impasse on the SWF. Yet the fungus adapted and managed to not only be able to communicate with the humans via chemicals released, as well as being able to give shapeshift and adaptive bodily functions to the host. Humans with SWF are seen as living colonies of the fungus. Even though the fungus prefer the human species, it's advisable to not elicit wrath or anger in any SWF hosts. The parasitic creature will retaliate with extreme prejudice against any life form that can be seen as harm for the host. At least twice a month, humans discharge whole colonies of SWF in containers that are shipped to the homeworld of SWF. Drastic reduction of deaths related to SWF are related ever since the humans started being hosts. Article 7. Necrophage bacteria. Seen as one of the very few Class 14 life forms, the necrophage bacteria is able to infect almost anything that have direct contact with them. Yet on humans, the story went down the rabbit hole. The MB started infecting the first host, as it normally does to any species, yet the adrenal fluids and the immune system of the humans were able to fight back the infection. In short days, the bacteria started to lose the fight, an impossibility for any other race other than humans. Days later, the patient demonstrated the creation of new cells on his bloodstream. They were called black blood cells, and were clearly coming from several organs as well as the spinal cord. After a successful recovery, the subject suddenly died in an epileptic attack. Yet only a few minutes afterwards, the subject woke, clearly changed, for all instances looking like a dead person. The heartbeat almost non-existent. The subject, for all tries, can't be killed. Regeneration can only happen with genetic therapy or the aid of another symbiotes. Bionic prosthetics are highly advised for these hosts. Further tests are required, and so far, other than the immortality of the subject, new abilities have yet to be confirmed, but it is very clear that the host is changed in profound ways. The adaptation so far has been called necromorph. Subject can survive any toxins and environments where it was formerly impossible for a human to adapt.